Thanks again for staying with us on the show, TMI, lovely Monday morning. And we'll get to our talking points, beginning with the escalation of the insecurity challenge in the country. Well, in the last 1 week, we've seen abductions of priests, specifically along the road, but the one that happened in Edo State, particularly at Ikabigbo in Edo North Senatorial District. The priest was allegedly picked from his house by gunmen. And the circumstances surrounding that attack is still something that has continued to create a lot of tension. Well, let me quickly welcome our guest here. Dr. Sheriff Azake has been on this program several times, giving insights into why this problem has persisted and what can be done to checkmate it. But in recent times, a major talking point is that people should go for self-help, should arm themselves. We've seen Zamfara State taking a lead in that direction against the hue and cry from the security leadership. The government of Zamfara State, I think over the weekend, inaugurated a new outfit on community guard or something. We've also had reactions trailing that people say, look, this is the way to go to checkmate this. But let me begin with you, Reverend. It does look like there's some clandestine move to specifically target church leadership, Catholic priests in recent times, or are these just coincidental incidents?
Thank you for having me. I think security issue is not something we toy with as long as now it's concerned. We don't trivialize it, we don't politicize it, we don't joke with it because it has to do with lives. And the level in which we are right now is for everybody to be more conscious about security. Security should be a priority as long as we are concerned. We saw the antecedents within the week, what happened. It's not just the priest alone. There are other persons who were victims to these ungodly acts. But the issue now is that Nigeria is like we are not too conscious about security, and we are passing through all these menace. But a lot of people, they still take life normal. They think you can handle security just by talking. It's beyond that one. One of the areas I personally look at where the government has not really come in is to begin to educate the people on security matters. Begin to sensitize them. Look at the day COVID-19 came. You see the effort the government put into the awareness. They conscientize the people, orient them. There was much campaign on COVID-19, on how people should put face masks, wash their hands, and social distance, and people complied. But if they could channel such energy to the orientation in the area of security, I think by the grace of God, Nigerians, even the ones in the community, in the villages, they will come to understand that it's not about talking, it's about being oriented about it. We look at what the Zamfara state governor came up with. Yeah. For a governor to come up in that form to tell the people to harm themselves with gun, that is the essence in which insecurity has gone in that environment. Yeah. It's not just the Zamfara state, it's everywhere. Insecurity is affecting every facet of human endeavor in this country, Nigeria. And the issue of handling gun, which a lot of people have been agitating for, I think carrying the gun is not really the solution to insecurity. It's not the solution. Because, first of all, if you carry the gun and there is no platform, there is no systems and structures in which these guns can be used, right now Nigeria is already tensed. Little quarrel, somebody pick the bottle, break it, and stab his neighbor. How much more if you give the person gun? So the gun is not going to help issue. The gun is not the first thing to address security. It's the orientation, the education of the people in the area of security. If there are structures and systems in which people can be oriented, be educated, be sensitized, it will be nitty-gritty of security to an extent. I think we will know what to do in the area of security.
So are we not saying that the people who are tasked with the responsibility of protecting lives and properties have kind of failed in their assignment?
Yes, because the purpose of governments is to protect the lives of its citizens. Not just the citizens alone, their properties and the environment, because security is in tripartite dimension. The protection of lives, the properties of the people, and the environment. And when you look at the way things are going, we will say the government have not done much in the area of security.
Let's look at the dimension it has taken. Frequency of these attacks on the church, or some churches, let's put it that way. What is your remedy? Because people are saying we need to, you're talking about consciousness. To what extent will consciousness help at the stage that we are in now? Because some people are scared to go to church. My colleague was telling us just now that she interviewed someone on Sunday, and the person was like, in fact, he was a bit concerned, let me not use the word scared, going to church. You know, so how do you think we can deal with that issue from that perspective?
We should not negate the fact that we are confronted with terrorist organizations presently. And these terrorist organizations, they are in different categories. We have the Boko Haram, we have the ISWAP, we have the bandits, we have the S-men killers, we have the Asarus. They are so deadly. And these terrorist organizations, each of them have their own agenda. There's one, his agenda is to Islamize, the other one is to Fulanize, the other one is to cause coerce in the system. They want to make sure that the governance in this country is not settled. And there's a focus to really take over. Whether we believe it or not, there's already an agenda to overrun this country. I was bleeding in my heart yesterday when I watched the video clip on how some military men were killed. These were men that were trained as if they were killed as if they were not trained. These people are everywhere. They're in our forest. They're even with us, not just in the forest. They've already come to where we stay. So we have to be very, very proactive, because the system is, we are very reactive. We want something to happen before we take action, especially government. We are the reactive government. We've seen all these things on ground. We don't want to take positive and powerful steps. When the government is not sincere in handling security issue, what you see is what we are experiencing. Like in the area of church, there is a direction on the church to really cause havoc in the church. Look at what happened in Owo, the saga in Owo. I watched the burial, I was weeping. And they said it's just a diabolical signal. That what you see in Owo is just a diabolical, it's just a signal of what is coming on the church. But my pain right now is that religious leaders, they are not doing much in the area of security. You see, ministry as there's a paradigm shift when it comes to ministry. We should move from the conventional way of doing ministry to the unconventional way of doing ministry.
What is that unconventional way?
The unconventional way is, before us, we are faced with enemies that we cannot easily conquer. What we are going to do is not just come to the altar and begin to preach, God bless you, breakthrough, financial this, deliverance and this, because ministry without security is obscurity. Nothing thrives in the absence of security. You can't begin. I've seen a lot of ministers, they are doing ministry without considering the basics of ministry, which is security is part of it. They are not putting security on ground because you are involving people. You are not orienting the people. You are not sensitizing them. You are not I've gone to churches. I've seen what is on ground. You see a mighty church, not even one CCTV camera. You see a very massive church. They don't have security structure. Not even security department, not even protocol. Even the orchard, they are not trained. Because when you are not trained, you can't do anything.
Absolutely.
These guys, they've already entered the church. There should be intelligent gathering. There should be seminars on security, symposium on security, conferences on security. Security summit should be held among pastors. Because when the pastors, the cleric, when they missed it, it will the assembly, the people, they will have the pain.
As the members now.
The members. Because they will be at the receiving end, because when the pastor is not security conscious, it affects the people. It can escape, but what will happen to the people? Look at yesterday, 2 priests were kidnapped. Last Sunday, a priest in Edo State was kidnapped and he was killed. Yeah. On Monday, on last Saturday, upper Saturday, a priest was also killed in Kaduna. You see, it's the one we are talking about. Absolutely. There are those who were kidnapped, because this kidnapping thing is a big business to them, and the government cannot handle it. They can handle it if the willpower is there. What is difficult to comb our bush? You don't even need to send men to the forest. We have technology, because when we don't use the aspect of technology to combat insecurity, we have much casualties. How many soldiers were killed last week? And we have all these things. We have the money to buy this equipment. This is not the analog time. We should use real technology. We have drones. You put drones in the bush to comb the entire system. We have even drones that can use guns to fight. Somebody's in the operating room controlling it, and this thing is taking care of the enemies in the bush. Right now, we are already entangled with great fear. From here to Ekpoma or Auchi, before you travel, you have to pray very well. Your city, your family have to be calling you every 5 minutes to know whether all is well. We can't even use our one eye to sleep. How much more talking about 2 eyes? The whole place is tense with insecurity. The churches are not, let me come to the church area, because it's not only the church. The churches are not, the people are even afraid to go to church right now. Because the time people come to the church, the enemies are already in the church. And when they begin to get all this information in the church, they carry out their deadly plan and they do whatever they want to do. There's what we call conventional kidnapping and unconventional kidnapping. I tell pastors, come. It's not even about the conventional kidnapping. When they come to you, they take you to the bush and just like that. They'll just come to you, you negotiate. We don't want to take you to the bush. We just want to cooperate. We need 50 million from you. Please don't tell anybody. Don't tell the police. Don't tell your wife. Don't tell anybody. You see, some priests, as we are talking right now, some priests are paying ransom without anybody being aware. Selling their lands, selling their properties. In these guys telling people they are sowing it to the Lord. Right? They are selling these things and they pay ransom in huge amount. As we are talking right now, Nigeria, when it comes to kidnapping, sir, Nigeria in the world index, Nigeria is number 1. Oh, globally, Nigeria is number 1. When it comes to the rate in which people are being killed on daily basis, Nigeria is number 1. When it comes to insurgency, globally, Nigeria is number 3. We have the Afghanistan, we have Iraq, we have Nigeria. What is happening? And the thing is not reducing, it's increasing every day.
Okay, let's quickly conclude with this. We've seen some states deploy a strategy of domesticating policing in their communities. A Moteku Corps came, and then in some states we have vigilantes being established just to ensure that these things are well taken care of. What is your assessment of the impact of these security groups that have been established just to tackle insecurity in the country?
Yes, I think they've come to really synergize with the police and the army. Really, they are doing a good job. But the issue I want to say on this area, especially the vigilante, yes, the government should go beyond the level in which they are presently. They should have a training system for them. You don't give a man a gun without giving him a perfect training. They should have, not just, we have security education, we have security instruction. Not just giving them instruction. Give them a platform where they can be educated on the job in which they are doing. And secondly, they should be motivated. They are not well motivated. They should be paid. Because if these guys are not paid, they are not motivated, they will go back to where they are coming from, and you can't take the gun from them.
But don't you think the rate at which we are going now, self-defense would be the only way out?
Well,
the way it's going now.
Self-defense naturally is the first law of nature. When somebody comes to tell you that you cannot defend yourself, the person is just trying to play under your intelligence.
It's not out of place.
It's not. If it's even constitutional for you to defend yourself. Even the animals, they have self-defense mechanism.
So irrespective of what you are using.
Where whatever you use should be in line with the law. You should not go against the law in return.
So are you advocating licensing of guns to individuals?
Yes. If you can
handle it,
if you can license your gun and handle it, there's nothing bad there.
All right.
And there should be a platform before you give somebody a gun or license a gun. There should be a platform in which the person will know how to use that gun.
All right. Let me thank you very much, Dr. Sheriff Azake, for availing us useful insights on how we can tackle the burgeoning problem of insecurity in our country. It's still TMI Monday. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the rest of the discussion segment as we look at the interesting part of the build-up to the 2023 election from the presidential and vice presidential candidates who just can't find their results, their certificates. Stay with us on the show. We'll be back with you in a moment.